Hello dear students. Today we will start with Democratic Politics of class 10, chapter number 6, Political Parties. This is the first part of the chapter. Now students, political parties. Whenever we talk of democracy, the very first thing which comes in our mind is political parties. Or somehow or other, whenever we talk about democracy, the very first thing which comes in our mind is political parties. We think that democracy is equal to political parties. Political parties are easily one of the most visible institutions in a democracy. For most ordinary citizens, democracy is equal to political parties. If we travel to remote parts, outskirts of our country, and if we speak to less educated citizens, we'll come to know that people who may not know anything about our constitution, means they do not know anything about the constitution, but chances are that they would know something about political parties. It is possible. If we talk to less ordinary citizens, less educated citizens, the chances are there that they might not be knowing about our constitution or about the nature of our government, but the possibilities are there that they might be knowing about the political parties and their nature of work. At the same time, this does not mean that they are popular. It doesn't mean that they are famous, they are popular. Political parties are popular. No, it is not that. Many a time it happens that people blame parties for all that is wrong with our democracy and our political life. Parties have become identified with social and political divisions. How social and political divisions? Because somehow or other we favor a political party. Therefore, it is natural to ask, do we need political parties? Yes. The answer is yes. We need political parties. Why? We'll discuss later on. About 100 years ago, there were few countries of the world that had any political party. Likewise, in India, before independence, a single political party was there. Indian National Congress, which was formed in the year 1885 by Alan Octavian Hume, A.O. Hume. Alan Octavian Hume. Now there are few that do not have parties. Previously there used to be very few political parties, but now the situation is just opposite. Now we find that very few countries are there who do not have political parties. Now let us first of all discuss that what is a political party. Political party is a group of people who come together to contest election and hold power in the government. They agree on some policies and programs for the society with a view to promote the collective good. A political party is a group of people who come together to contest election, hold the power in the government. They contest election, of course, and if they win, they hold the power in the government. In other words, we can define political parties as a group of people having similar views over political issues. They are having similar views on political issues. They agree on some policies and programs for the society. Since there can be different views on what is good for all, parties try to persuade people why their policies are better than others. You might have seen in the campaigning, election campaign, at the time of election campaign, the political parties, they try to persuade people by telling them that why their policies are better than others. And if they win the election, they try to implement these policies by winning popular support through elections. This is what you call is a political party. Number one, a group of people who come together to contest election and hold the power. They try to persuade people why their policies are better than others, and when they win, they try to implement those policies. Now, second part. Parties reflect fundamental political divisions in a society. Parties are about a part of the society and thus involve partisanship. Now, who is a partisan? A person who is strongly committed to a party, group. Partisanship is marked by a tendency to make a side and inability to take a balanced view. In short, what we can say that who is a partisan, he neglects his personal views. On the other hand, what he does, he is strongly committed to political party. What his party is saying is correct. He neglects his personal views. On the other hand, what he does, whatever party says, he thinks, he does that it is correct. A party is known by which part it stands for, which policies it supports, and whose interest it upholds. A political party has three components: the leaders who contest election, the active members during rallies, during campaign. These active members participate in those campaigning. And the third one is the followers. Like some of we the people are the followers. In the 5 years we do nothing, and at last we go and vote for a particular party to whom we are voting for, to whom we are voting again and again, by appreciating their work also. So, three components are there: leaders, active members, and the followers. Now, this was all about what is a political party, partisanship, and components of the political party. Now, let us have a look at functions of a political party. What are the functions of a political party? What does a political party do? Basically, political parties fill political offices and exercise political power. Parties do so by performing a series of functions. Now, what are those functions? Number one, contesting election. Parties contest elections. In most democracies, elections are fought mainly among the candidates put up by the political parties. Parties select their candidates in different ways. Like in some countries such as USA, members and supporters of a party choose its candidates. But in India, top party leader choose candidates for contesting election. So, what is the first function? It is contesting election. Political parties contest election. And there are two ways of putting up the candidates. Parties select their candidates in different ways. Number one, as example, USA, members and supporters of a party choose candidates. It is a democratic country. And in India, top party leaders choose candidates for contesting election. Number second is your policies and programs. Parties put forward different policies and programs, and the voters choose from them that which one is the best, which party has given the best policies and program for them, and they vote for them. Each of us may have different opinion and views on what policies are suitable for society. In economics, we have studied that different people have different developmental goals. So, we vote for the party whose developmental goal matches with ours. But no government can handle such a 135 crore population is there. Is it possible for government to handle 135 crore views? No. In a democracy, a large number of similar opinions have to be grouped together to provide a direction in which policies can be formulated by the governments. This is what the parties do. A party reduces a vast multitude of opinions, means many opinions are there, but they categorize them into a group, a few basic positions which it supports. A government is expected to base its policies on the line taken by the ruling party. Now, what is the ruling party? Political party that runs government is called a ruling party. So, policies and program. What I told you, that it is not possible to take views of opinions of 135 crore Indians. So, political parties, after winning the election, they pool it, they make group of opinion and put it in their policies and programs. The ruling party. Now the third function of the political party is making laws. Parties play a decisive role in making laws for a country. Formally, laws are debated and passed in the legislature. But since most of the members belong to a party, they go by the direction of the party leadership, irrespective of their personal opinion. That's what I told you is partisanship. Their personal opinion doesn't matter. They only follow what their party leadership is saying. So they make law. How a bill becomes a law? First of all, it is presented in the house, lower house, Lok Sabha. After that, debate and discussion is there. After that, voting is there. And if that bill gets 2/3 of votes, that bill is sent to Rajya Sabha. If it is not a money bill, it is sent to Rajya Sabha. Again, it is presented over there. Debate and discussion is there. voting is there, and finally it is sent to President of India. If no advice is given by President of India, he signs the bill and that bill becomes a law. This is how political party makes law. Now, fourth one is forms and run government, means formation of government. The big policy decisions are taken by political executive that comes from political parties. Party recruit leaders, train them, and then make them ministers to run the government in the way they want. After winning the election, they form the government and they run the government by putting up political executives, like we have defense minister, finance minister, Ministry of External Affairs. Parties, they recruit leaders, train them, and then make them ministers to run the government in the way they want. Now, till now, students, we are talking about only the ruling party, forming and running the government, making laws, policies and programs. Now let us talk about function of a political party as a role of opposition. Political parties, if they do not get majority votes, majority number of seats, they play the role of opposition. And what is the role of opposition party? By voicing different views and criticizing government for its failures and wrong policies. Political parties also mobilize opposition to the government. If any of the decision taken by the ruling party is wrong, or policies or government failure is there, or wrong policies are there, then opposition party works as a whistleblower. Now, the sixth function of a political party is shaping public opinion. They raise and highlight issues. Parties have lakhs of members and activists spread all over the country. You might have seen in your city also. Many of the pressure groups are extension of political parties among different sections of the society. Parties sometimes also launch movements for the resolution of problems faced by the people. Often, opinion in the society crystallize on the lines parties take. They shape public opinion. They raise and highlight the issues. Many a times what happens, the political party is having an extended hand, and that extended hand is pressure group. Pressure group do not contest in election. What is their function? What is the function of the pressure group? They tend to put pressure on the government to take certain decisions in favor of them. Like various feminist groups are there who talk about equal rights of women. So they are pressure groups. They do not contest election. On the other hand, they try to put pressure on the government to take certain decisions in their favor. So this is how political parties shape public opinion. Now, seventh, the last one is access to government machinery and welfare schemes implemented by governments. Because for an ordinary citizen, it is easy to approach a local party leader than a government officer. Yes, of course, you can easily reach to a local leader, but it is quite difficult for you, many of us, to reach to a government officer. That is why they feel close to parties even when they do not fully trust them. We do not fully trust them, but we find close to a political party. Why? Because it is easier for us to reach to a local leader than a government officer. Parties have to be responsive to people's need and demand. Otherwise, people can reject those parties in the next election. They have to fulfill the demand of the people. Otherwise, what people will do in the next election, they will throw them out of the race. So, these were some of the functions of the political party. What were they? They contest election. They launch policies and programs. They make laws, forms and run governments. They play the role of opposition. They shape public opinion. And the last one, parties provide people access to government machinery and welfare schemes implemented by the government. And mind you, students, this question comes in the board exams also. This question comes 5-mark question. Now, till now we studied that what is a political party, what are the 3 components of the political party, what are the functions of the political party. Now the question arises, why do we need political parties? Why political parties are necessary? The answer is, we need political parties because they perform all the functions which we have studied now. But we still need to ask why modern democracies cannot exist without political party. We can understand the necessity of political parties by imagining a situation without parties. Just imagine that our country, India, is not having any of the political parties. Then what will happen? Every candidate in the election will be independent. They will not belong to any of the political parties. So no one will be able to make any promises to the people about any major policy changes. No one is responsible. Everyone is free, independent. They do not belong to any political party. They have no political views. They are not having any policies. The government may be formed. Okay, elections are over, government is formed, but its utility will remain uncertain. Elected representatives will be accountable to their constituency only for what they do in the locality, but no one will be responsible for how the country will run. 543 seats are there in Lok Sabha. We have elected 543 members. But they will be answerable and accountable for whom? For their constituency, their locality only. There will be no responsible person to tell that how the country should run. We can also think about it by looking at the non-party based election to the panchayat in many states. In panchayat, Gram Sabha, you look that independent candidates are there. Although the parties do not contest formally, it is generally noticed that the village gets split into more than one faction, each of which put up a panel of its candidates. Villagers, they divide themselves. Some of the group of the village, they will favor that a particular candidate. Some of the group of the people, they will favor another candidate. That is the reason we find political parties almost all countries of the world. Whether these countries are big or small, old or new, developed or developing, political parties are necessary. The rise of political party is directly linked to the emergence of representative democracy. Representative democracy is required. As societies become large and complex, they also needed some agency to gather different views on various issues and to present these to the government. They needed some way to bring various representatives together so that a responsible government could be formed. They needed a mechanism to support the government, to make policies, justify or oppose them, means ruling party and opposition party. Political parties fulfill these needs that every representative government has. We can say that parties are necessary condition for a democracy. If political parties will not be there, who will work, who will play the role of opposition party, who will shape the public opinion? Because if political parties are not there, all the candidates will work for their locality, for their constituency, and no one will think of a nation as one. Now, the question arises that how many political parties should we have? How many political parties should we have? So, before going through this discussion, we'll discuss that how many type of party system exist in this world. Different party systems. Now, the very first one is one party system. One party system. In class 9, we noted that in China, only the Communist Party is allowed to rule. Although, legally speaking, people are free to form political parties, it does not happen because the electoral system does not permit free competition of power. A good option. We cannot consider one party system as a good option because this is not a democratic option. Means if you vote, if you do not vote, then also a party will win, that is Communist Party in China. It means your vote do not matter at all. Why? If you vote also, then also Communist Party will win. And if you do not vote, then also Communist Party will win. Any democratic system must allow at least two parties to compete in election and provide a fair chance of competing. Not only competing, but a fair chance of losing also. So one party system, only single party is there in the country. For example, China, Communist Party is there. So it do not provide any democratic option. So it is not a democratic country. Second one is your two-party system. In some countries, power is shared between two main parties. Such party system is called two-party system. Two political parties exist. First one, for example, United States of America. Republican and Democrats. Only these two parties exist. And in United Kingdom, liberals and conservatives. These two parties exist. And yes, for democracy, at least two political parties should exist so that people could have choice. People could have choice. So this is what you call is two-party system. Example we gave, United States of America, Republicans and Democrats, and United Kingdom, there are two parties, liberals and conservatives. Now the third type of party system is ours, India, multi-party system. If here in multi-party system, several parties compete for power and more than two parties have reasonable chance of winning. We call it a multi-party system. In India, we have multi-party system. Since multi-party system tend to offer more choices to the voters, it is often considered better than the other party systems. So, three party systems we discussed now: one party system, two party system and multi-party system. Now, let us have a quick differentiation comparison between two-party system and multi-party system. Two-party system, the two-party system presents voters a simple choice. Choice is there, but is quite simple. But multi-party system, it provides voters with many choices, as more than two parties are there. Now, two-party system, it provides for stable governance. Either this part, either if we talk about United States of America, either Republicans they will win or Democrats they will win. Stable governance is there. But what happens in multi-party system? We have alliance, coalition form. When none of the political parties they get maximum number of votes, then coalition form of government is formed. Means two or more than two parties they join together to form the government and run the government. But it is not stable. Some of the times it happens that alliance it is broken up and re-elections are there. In two-party system are not as flexible. They are not flexible because they have a more or less rigid set of opinions on every issue. Rigid means either Democrats will be there, Democratic Alliance will be there, or Republicans will be there, either this side or that side. But in multi-party system, it is more responsive to a change or shift in public opinion because many of the political parties are there. They work as a opposition party also, ruling party also, they have pressure groups also. So multi-party system and two-party system. Two-party system example USA and UK, and multi-party system India. So this was all about this part of chapter number 6, political parties. Thank you and have a nice day.